Strangely enough, we have a transfer story to talk about, as we have been handed a huge blow after a latest report. We will discuss this in today's video, whilst going over all the latest Celtic news from the last 24 hours. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Jamie Vardy has broken his silence following his summer move to Cremonese. After rumours had briefly linked the veteran striker with Celtic, the 38-year-old left Leicester City at the end of last season and was on the lookout for a new challenge. Whispers of Celtic's interest emerged, largely driven by the player's camp, with reports suggesting Vardy was open to the idea of reuniting with Brendan Rodgers at Parkhead. Rodgers was asked about the speculation but chose not to confirm or deny any approach, and in the end, Celtic moved for another of his former Leicester players in Kelechi Iheanacho. Vardy instead took the plunge into Serie A with Cremonese, where he was officially unveiled this week. At his press conference, he admitted to turning down other offers, though he would not reveal which clubs had been in for him. "I don't feel like naming the clubs I rejected," Vardy said. "I made the decision with my family, and I'm very happy." When we talked about this possibility, I took many factors into consideration. First and foremost, my family. While Celtic's striker department has been a running sore point for supporters, with Kyogo gone since January and Maeda going to Swansea on deadline day without a replacement lined up, Rodgers eventually settled for Iheanacho as his only reinforcement through the middle. He was signed as a free agent after the summer transfer window shut. Now for the main story, as Celtic's chaotic summer window has come under fresh scrutiny after it emerged that Sebastian Tunekti was valued at less than half the fee the Hoops eventually paid. The Tunisian winger joined from Hammarby on deadline day for £5.5 million, arriving at Parkhead with just over an hour of the window left. While Brendan Rodgers views him as someone who can play off the right and indirectly replace Nicholas Kuhn, the deal has sparked debate over value for money. Speaking on the Go Radio football show, journalist Mark Guidi revealed that English Championship clubs had looked at Tunekti but rejected him at a much lower price. He said, "I think it was a very disappointing transfer window for Celtic. Some of the fees that they've paid, I'm led to believe that the Tunisian winger Tunekti, that he was on the radar of a couple of English Championship clubs during the window. They decided not to go for him, and they believed that the fee was between £2.5 to £3 million to secure him, and Celtic have paid over £5 million. By all accounts, Tunekti's signing came amid a backdrop of frustration at Celtic's business. Nicholas Kuhn left for Como without a direct replacement. Maeda went to Swansea City on deadline day, and Kyogo's January exit has still not been addressed. Yang was close to leaving before his move collapsed at the final hurdle, and Daizen Maeda admitted he had agreed terms with a club, thought to be from Germany, before Celtic blocked the transfer. Rodgers had been clear that his squad needed a refresh, but instead the summer closed with more questions than answers. Tunekti's fee and the circumstances of his arrival have only fueled the anger directed at the Celtic board for what many fans view as a shambolic window. In other news, Brendan Rodgers is set for urgent discussions with Daizen Maeda after the winger admitted he wanted to leave Celtic during the summer transfer window. The Japanese international, due back at Lennox Town today, returned to his homeland during the break and revealed that he had asked Celtic to sanction a move away. Maeda went as far as saying he had agreed terms with another club before the Hoops blocked the deal. It has since emerged that a German club tabled a significant bid on the final weekend of the window. Rodgers is now keen to gauge where the player's head is at after such a turbulent episode. The Celtic manager will meet Maeda to assess his mindset, with the forward expected to remain an important figure in the months ahead despite the transfer saga. Celtic's next match is at Rugby Park against Kilmarnock on Sunday, live on Sky Sports. Maeda's contract situation adds another layer of urgency. When next summer arrives, he will be entering the final 12 months of his deal. If Celtic are to cash in, and if Maeda remains intent on leaving, then January could become a crucial moment. The situation is yet another headache for Rodgers, following a summer that saw Nicholas Kuhn and Maeda depart without like-for-like replacements, with Kyogo still not replaced. With supporters furious over the state of the squad and a board under mounting pressure, uncertainty over one of the team's most reliable performers is the last thing Celtic needed heading into a demanding run of fixtures. In other news, Scottish football is heading back onto the global stage after the SPFL confirmed a new licensing deal with EA Sports FC. The multi-year agreement means every Premiership club will be fully playable in the video game, with Celtic Park and Ibrox both included when EA Sports FC 26 launches on Friday the 26th of September. Of course, these stadiums were added in EAFC 24 2 years ago. Figures from last year highlight just how much demand there is for Scottish football on the virtual pitch, with SPFL clubs selected in 16 million matches across the globe. This year, there is a return for Falkirk, who are back in the game for the first time in 15 years, following their promotion to the top flight after they won the championship last season. Celtic fans will be hoping for more face scans to make the game realistic and enjoyable. It's still frustrating that there isn't a Scottish championship, especially for those who play career mode. With no relegations, it lacks the realism and freshness each season. The deal ensures Scottish football's profile continues to grow internationally on the game, with the Premiership set to be played and watched by millions around the world when the new game drops later this month. Lastly, the story about Brendan Rodgers causing a split at Celtic angered the Hoops support, and the reason for that anger is simple. Why would a spokesperson from the club come out to a national newspaper and deliberately trash the manager? The report last Friday night said senior figures at Celtic were unhappy at Brendan Rodgers questioning the club's transfer policy. So who were these senior figures and why did they not have the courage to put their name to the story? In fact, was the story about the boss even true at all? Former Celt striker Andy Walker believes it is, and here he explains why he believes that people inside Celtic have turned on Rodgers. Walker was left absolutely dumbstruck by the comments coming out of Celtic and shares exactly why he believes what's being said about Rodgers by the Hoops hierarchy is true. Walker told the Go Radio football show, "I despair sometimes at what comes out of Celtic." I think there's been an arrogance there that's been evident for a number of years. And Brendan Rodgers speaking recently about, well, there's no disconnect here, we're all in good shape, we're all good pals, and there's no disconnect between anyone. There's a disconnect between someone in a very senior position at Celtic and the manager if that story in the paper is true, and I'm amazed that no one's denied it at Celtic. I think that tells you that it's true. And when you're briefing against your own manager, what does that tell you about the relationship? I think every supporter would want to feel that their manager, or rather the board, has got the back of their manager. The thing about all this carry on is that the fans all appear to be right behind Rodgers and his current issues with the Parkhead board. And speaking about the current situation, journalist Stephen McGowan believes that there is a standoff between Rodgers and the Celtic board. McGowan said, "There's 3 million reasons why he won't resign. We know how football works. Managers, if they want to go, want their contract paid up. And the very last club who want to pay Brendan Rodgers £2.5 million to go away are Celtic. They barely pay £2.5 million for a centre forward, so why would they pay it to a manager who's not honouring his contract? I think it's a bit of a standoff now. It looks like the relationship is in a very bad way from the outside, and it's a case of who blinks first. If there is indeed a standoff, there will only be one winner, and it's not looking like it will be the Celtic board. What do you think of what we discussed in today's video? Let us know down in the comment section below. Make sure you've liked this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.